I'm Amy Nicholson, film critic here in LA and massive fan of the American Cinematheque and the director that we are here to celebrate, Penelope Spheeris. Penelope!
Hi, everybody. Hello, Amy.
Hello. Penelope, I promise that I have not hijacked you into a This Is Your Life evening. We do only have a couple minutes together before we let these people party on with Wayne and Garth, but I really want to name check quickly just some of your body of work. Because we're here and you're here and it's amazing. So Penelope, you've done the landmark docs Decline of Western Civilization parts 1, 2, and 3. You've done your string of just fascinating indies, Suburbia, The Boys Next Door, Hollywood Vice Squad, and you've done your big studio comedies, Beverly Hillbillies, Little Rascals, and of course the two that we are here to introduce tonight, Wayne's World and Black Sheep. Woo!
Wow, you did that without even looking at notes. That's cool.
Well, I adore you, and I adore memorizing stuff about you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I
good.
adore you too. Are you married? No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
No.
Okay, you guys, there you go.
Well, so is it fair to say that Wayne's World marks a pivot in your career?
Oh yeah, that's more than fair to say that. I was just like a struggling independent filmmaker, borrowing money from my sister to pay my, rent. And then I did Wayne's World and shocked us all. None of us thought it was going to be successful. And yeah, I became extremely rich overnight because they gave me a percentage of it. And they didn't think it was a big deal to give a percentage because they didn't think anything would happen with the movie, So I got to remember to look at the camera. Anyway, yeah, so definitely went from street poor to extremely rich. But it happened when I was 45 years old. And by that time, your whole personality is formed. So in my mind, I'm still dirt poor. Okay. That's just the way it works.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
I think that's why I thought it was interesting to know that your friendship with Lauren, like this isn't just like a sudden shift in at least the people you're working with. Like you had known Lauren all the way back in the beginning of your career, before your beginning. I mean, is it true that you've known Lauren Michaels before you were even a director?
Oh yeah, that's definitely true. And I met him because I was working with these guys that needed a really fast typist because they were doing some transcription for a Jimi Hendrix movie. And they were friends with Lauren. And we all had this house down on Topanga Beach. And we would just all hang out there. And I remember the moment where I was making an omelet for Lauren. We're talking 1973 or something like that. And I'm making an omelet and he's reading the paper and he goes, I think I might want to go to New York and do some kind of a live variety type show, maybe on Saturday night for people who can't go out. And yeah, that's how I first heard about SNL.
Wow. Well, and then he asked you to help Albert Brooks with the shorts that he did for Saturday Night Live.
He asked me to teach Albert Brooks how to direct movies because he loved Albert, because he was hilarious. And but Albert didn't want to be on the show as one of those players. He just wanted to direct little short films, but he didn't know how. So Lauren calls me up and says, Penelope, I've got this very funny guy. Would you mind please just teaching him how to make a movie? And I said, okay, sure, fine. And so I did that. Of course, they would never let me direct any of the shorts on Saturday Night Live because I think it was because I was a chick and I still am, but later I think it might have been in the back of Lauren's head, well, geez, maybe I should have gave her a job back then, which she kept trying to be on the show to do the shorts. But plus I had just done the Decline Part 2, the Meadow Years. Mm-hmm. And Wayne and Garth had this misconception that they were headbangers, and which is what made them funny, I think. And so I got the Wayne's World gig because of those two factors, I believe.
Yeah, Wayne and Garth definitely think that they're cool enough to fit into the music scenes that you've documented. They're not, right? Like I'm trying to even imagine how Darby Crash.
They're so flip and square. They're so I'm sorry, they're just square. But that's what makes it funny,
I mean, you're surrounded by these comedy guys in the 70s. Did they think it was weird when you went off to videotape Darby Crash? Where they're like, we're over here with bees dancing
Well,
around.
yeah,
What are
I
you
mean, I
doing?
remember being in New York with all my SNL friends, and James Brooks was there, and we were going to like Studio 54 and those kind of disco cocaine places, you know.
Yeah.
And I was there doing a disco thing with James Brooks, and I told him I was going to go back to LA and do a documentary on punk rock. And he went, "Oh, you stupid fuck. I can't believe you're going to do that. What are you, nuts?" You know? And I'm like, yeah, I'm nuts. I'm going to do a punk rock documentary. But yeah, they made fun of me. They made a lot of fun of me for that. Yeah.
But so then when you get this call about Wayne's World, do you think that's nuts? Like, were you like, do I want to do this? Were you weighing pros and cons about it?
Well, interesting you should say nuts, because at the time I was also being interviewed to do a documentary about Patton State Hospital for the criminally insane. And that's where I was when I went to a wall phone, made the call to my agent, and he said, forget about that, insane asylum gig. You got the Wayne's World job. And I went, oh, yeah. So, yeah. But Joan Churchill did that documentary I was just talking about. She did a great job on it. Yeah.
I'll have to see that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Then I'll
It's
imagine
called
the Spheres
Asylum.
version.
Huh?
Oh,
Yeah.
then I'll imagine the Spheres version too. We'll do the back to back. Well, you can always go back into the asylum.
Well, I think that might be a good place for me. But anyway.
Well, I was thinking when I was rewatching Wayne's World, I was thinking how funny it is that this is a film that I think makes fun of the conventions of big studio comedies. It makes fun of the idea of working for the man, or the idea of selling out. Like there's that whole montage with Pizza Hut and Doritos and Reeboks and Pepsi that everybody's about to see. I mean, selling out was a huge conversation in the 90s. It felt like it was the only thing people talked about. But did that conversation mean anything to you too, as you were moving from the
Well,
punk world to the studio?
back in the 90s, it was a Clinton time, and the fact is, people were not that politically active or aware. All of us left-wing liberals were like, okay, well, we got somebody in there that's just going to take care of shit, so we'll just like kick back,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like it is now, where everybody is extremely politically active and aware. The thing that I think is hilarious is the fact that, yes, indeed, in Wayne's World, we did a whole section which everybody loves, making fun of product placement,
Mhm.
and all the promos in films and everything. But right now, or I should say recently, after the Super Bowl ad that the guys sold out and did, no, they did. After that,
Uh-huh.
there's like a friend of mine was just in Chicago, and there's like billboard, not in LA, but in Chicago, there's like billboards all over the place of Wayne and Garth advertising Uber Eats, and did you know that?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't know
No,
that.
they totally sold out and just, stepped on that, that whole section of the film and disrespected it. Thank you very much. But they probably made like millions of dollars doing it. So what can you say? I don't know.
What can you say besides these Doritos
It's
are
like, why didn't
delicious?
I direct it? Yeah, because they don't speak to me. Oh, that's why.
Well, okay, so having such a music background and maybe looking down a little bit on Garth and Wayne's musical tastes,
Yeah.
able to pick out the songs that you wanted the studios to pay for, or how did you have that conversation?
Well, that was back in the day when record companies actually, sold records and made money and kept it off and didn't give any to the artists. But anyway, that was a time when, oh, my cat's going cuckoo, sorry. Oh.
Hi. Hello, little guy.
So what happened is, if I wanted a song, we would talk to a, CBS Records or Sony or Warner Brothers, whatever, and we'd say, we want to license this song. And they would say, well, we just happen to have this band that's got a new song coming out, And if you put the new song in the movie, then we'll let you have the one that you really want. So there was all kinds of trades and negotiations like that going on. I ended up with some songs that it was like, what the hell are these doing in here, you know? But I had to do it in order to get the ones I really wanted, you know?
That makes sense. What did you really want?
Well, Ballroom Blitz for Wayne's
Yeah.
World, I really wanted, you know, and Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't like in that category. It's just like they were willing to pay anything for Bohemian Rhapsody because that's what worked. And we all knew it. So, you know, that wasn't an issue. But I remember I brought, I want to use, I don't remember the name of the song. I barely remember the band, but Cinderella. I wanted to use a Cinderella song.
I have a Cinderella shirt. I should have been wearing it. Oh no.
Oh, really? Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But so I invited Cinderella, the band, to come and sit in a theater at Paramount and watch Wayne's World so that they would agree to let us use their song. And they watched it and they came out of the theater and they went, sorry, movie sucks, where you can't use our song. Bye-bye. Yeah. And then I think they came to their senses after Wayne's World did pretty well. And I think I put a Cinderella song in Black Sheep or some other movie. Yeah.
Good, because I was going to say they'd really regret that decision because I think people remember Wayne's World more than Cinderella, as much as I do love Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone.
Well,
Anyway,
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it was all a matter of negotiations, you know, with the record companies. So,
yeah.
And then, you know, with Bohemian Rhapsody, that particular scene, which has become iconic for some weird reason, I shot that same scene in a movie I did in 1987 called Dudes that John Cryer and Flea were in. And I got John Cryer and Flea headbanging in a Volkswagen to Hava Nagila. Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila. You know, they were doing that in a movie I did like, you know, years and years before. So that's where I stole that from. You know, that's where the whole Bohemian Rhapsody scene came from.
Well, I want to ask you that because we're about to start the film. And for people who are, you know, who want to know what this film is in context of comedies, before Wayne's World came out, there was only one Saturday Night Live spin-off movie that was the Blues Brothers, which had come out 12 years before this. This movie single-handedly resurrects that genre for good and bad. It not only does that, it gives it its biggest hit. I mean, Wayne's World made more money than every other film that's a Saturday Night Live spin-off by like sixfold. It's something pretty insane.
Yeah, like I saw John Gold at a party not too long ago, and he goes, Penelope, I just want to tell you that Lorne Michaels loves you. And I'm like, oh yeah, how come? And he said, because you made him more money than any other movie with Wayne's World, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't think you should love me because I'm a nice person or because I make, I don't know, good movies or whatever? No, because you made him so much money. Okay, fine, John. I don't know.
But because of that, like on the 25-year anniversary, the Guinness Book of World Records set a world record of people headbanging to Bohemian Rhapsody at once. And I just want to ask you before we start the movie, in case anybody in the crowd feels like headbanging today, is there a way to headbang and not hurt your head?
I will tell you something about that. That's something that happened, I believe, in, was it Aurora, Illinois?
Aurora, Illinois.
Yeah. I got in trouble because I said, don't they have something better to celebrate, like pumpkins or strawberries? And then the mayor or whatever of the town called me or emailed me and said, what's the matter? You don't like your movie? You know, I was like, just trying to make a joke, babe, but just ease up. What was your question?
Oh, how do you headbang and not hurt your head?
Oh, well, you have to have Guns N' Roses on, first of all, you know, and you just have to go back and, no, you don't get it. You have to hurt your head. That's the whole point, is you really hurt your neck and your head, and then it feels really good when you stop, you see.
Okay, well, this conversation has been a pleasure, but it is time for us to stop. Penelope, we're going to be back before Black Sheep.
Okay, cool.
Can't wait to keep talking to you.
Peace
Bye, everybody.
out,
Have
y'all.
fun.
Okay. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. Penelope, we are back. I'm so glad to keep talking to you. So let's catch up. Wayne's World comes out in 1992. It changes the direction of your career, as you were talking about, and you start to go on this tear. I mean, 1993, you do Beverly Hillbillies. 1994, you do Little Rascals. And then 1996, you do Black Sheep. And I heard that you signed on to this movie before there was even a script. That cannot possibly be true, can it?
Oh, yes, Amy. As a matter of fact, I got a call one Sunday afternoon from Sherry Lansing, head of Paramount at the time. And she said that she wanted me to direct film and would I please commit to it right away. And I said, turning off my AC, I said, what is it? And she said, we don't know. And I was like, well, you mean you don't have a script? And no, we don't have a script, but it's going to be good. When we get one, it'll be really good. Well, I said, how am I supposed to sign up for a movie if I don't know what it is? She goes, well, it's Chris Farley. We have a agreement with him that if by, we sign him by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, he will do his next film with us. Otherwise, he's going to go do Cable Guy. And so she said, if you could just please, say you'll work on this, it'd be great. And I said, well, I don't know. She go, hold on, let me get John Goldwyn on the phone. So she gets Goldwyn on the phone, okay? And she says, Penelope is not sure about this, John. And Sherry goes, how about $2 million for your salary? And I said, whoa. And I was shocked. I was kind of dumbfounded and I didn't say anything. And then John pipes in and goes, all right, 2.75. I guess so, sign me up. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Well, we'll get some good writers from Saturday Night Live and blah, blah, blah. So that's how that happened, yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing they settled on a political theme because it's 1996. It's an election year. Bill Clinton's going up against Bob Dole. Is this movie about like Roger Clinton, his brother? What were you?
I think Carter had also a brother that was a little sideways, Jimmy Carter and Clinton did as well. And so I guess and you know what? It was so like not me to do a movie about a political situation. I really didn't find that to fit my, personality and way of directing and thinking. But I mean, check out the bank account, man. I said, okay, well, I have been trying, not that I'm just like a sellout, like Wayne and Garth, but here's the thing. I didn't have any way to get any movies made of my own. I had like a lot of scripts I had written that I couldn't get made. And I even went to Goldwyn after I did Wayne's World and I said, please, can I direct Leap of Faith? Ended up with Steve Martin in it. And I was sure I was going to get that gig because look at what I just did with Wayne's World. I didn't get that gig, I couldn't get a job that I wanted to do doing my own movies. I mean, God bless Amy. Nora, I know Amy too, Ephron for being able to write the script she wanted and do the movie she wanted to do. But for me back then, and now I still can't do the movies I really want to do. I can only do goofball comedies.
Yeah. That must be frustrating, but you figure out how to.
It used to be until I said, forget about it. I don't give a fuck. And now I really don't, and it really, I have to go back to my punk rock roots and remember what life is all about. And that is just really not giving a shit, And so I'm fine with it, I'm okay. It's cool. Yeah.
I was thinking, for the second time tonight, like we're going to see you tackle working with a comedy team that already has a history together, that's already done like years together on Saturday Night Live. I mean, how do you then, when you're like well, I'm going to make 2.75 million for doing a good job with this. How do you enter that dynamic and get the best out of each performer?
You know what I noticed, Amy, about these guys that have worked together a lot before? You're right, they had their own established dynamic going on. And I was a stranger stepping into it, okay? But the thing I noticed about both of those sets of comedians is they had this thing that Lauren had taught them, which is how to be competitive. And so whenever the camera was off, they were competitive. Whenever the camera was on, they were really competitive. And so I learned how to live with that. And if you go back and look at the famous, memorable comedy teams over the years, they had this competitive thing that oftentimes lapsed into a dislike for each other, and there's something about that that makes them funnier. And I really can't put my finger on it, but they both had that going on. I was going nuts with Dana trying to figure, okay, I got to have a licorice thing to pull down here. No, I need more licorice because I've got to talk longer while I'm pulling it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Okay, so you're like a wrangler. By the way, I want to apologize. There's weed whacking happening outside my yard. Apologies.
Oh, is that you?
That's me.
I thought something was kicking back here on my system of noise.
Yeah.
It's gone. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry about that. But so like as you're trying to tame these comedians who are going off against each other, competing, like, are they improvisers? Like, how do you keep them on the rails when they start doing whatever they need to do to grab attention?
Well, I mean, they are basically. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't often quote Woody Allen, nor do I agree with many parts of his life. But I will say he said this, which is quite brilliant, and that is either you're funny or you're not. And it sounds simple, but it's profound. And, Wayne and Garth were hilarious. These guys, Dana and Mike, hilarious. And David Spade and Chris Farley were hilarious, Either you're funny or you're not. They're funny. David, I still have a recording on a little home. Back in the day, you had this little cassette in your answering machine. And I have the recording from David Spade that says, "I'm getting sick of this movie, Penelope. You're busting my comedy balls. I can't believe you're shooting so much on Chris and so little on me. What the hell's going on? I'm pissed." That's David Spade. Call me. I still got that recording. It's cool, huh? But I did shit. You know what? I thought Chris was funnier. And I did shoot more on Chris. And David did notice it. Yeah. And I'm sorry. But I had to do what I had to do,
You did. And I think you capture a lot of Farley's sweetness in this movie. Like this character has a lot of heart.
Oh, I don't know why I blanked out and thought you said David's sweetness. There is none.
You really captured David Spade's sweetness, which tastes sort of like a Sour Patch Kid.
That would be hard to capture. But, you could not help but embrace and love Chris Farley, Yeah. It was something about his vulnerability that was just precious, and humbleness. He was very, very humble. And he said to me, I swear to God is the truth. One day he said, "You know what? I love Jean Belushi, and I'm going to live my life like Jean Belushi, and I'm going to die like Jean Belushi." He said that to me. And I thought, "Oh, you silly boy." Bam, I shoved him. Don't say things like that, Yeah, unfortunately, that's what happened.
Yeah. I don't even know what you could say when somebody says something like that to you.
Well, I thought, I thought he was just doing a joke, but he would come to me before the day's shoot was over and say many, many times during the schedule, "Do you think I could leave early because I want to go to an AA meeting?" And he was never loaded when we were shooting. Okay. Yeah. Chris, I know loaded, okay, personally and with family members and friends. I know if somebody's loaded or not. And he was not ever using when we were working. But shortly thereafter, I had to go to New York and do some ADR. And he walked in the room an hour late, and I went, "Oh my God." I could see it, Yeah. God bless Chris Farley.
I mean, Yeah, he was it. I think he did a lot of his own stunts on this, correct? Because he was an athlete from his childhood. Like he
Oh,
played
that was
football,
in,
he was a swimmer.
oh, I mean, I don't know about that, but it makes sense because he
Yeah,
was so agile, I mean, he flipped around like Simone Biles, well, not
yeah.
that good, but he
Nobody's that good.
nobody's got in the whole world forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wanted to do a lot of his own stunts. And one day we were shooting by this tree, and I had a stunt guy standing by, and he was supposed to hit his head on a tree branch. And Chris said, "I can do this." I said, "No, like if you crack your head or do something, we can't shoot tomorrow or finish the day. I can do this. I can do this." So he banged his head into a tree branch and knocked himself out. And we were like, "Oh, dude's out. Oh, what are we gonna do?" But he woke back up and kept on going,
He's just like, "Haha, I'm here."
Yeah, I'm back.
I mean, of course, like Farley and Spade get the attention when we talk about this movie, but I want to ask you about Christine Ebersole, who plays the villain, Governor Tracy, because I think she's terrific in this movie.
Yeah, Christine was amazing. I think, that Lorne is the one, I believe, who suggested Christine. Just like he suggested Rob Lowe in Wayne's World. And when he suggested Rob in Wayne's World, I said, "Come on, we can't hire him. Look what he just did." It was right after his little incident with some girls he shouldn't have been with, right? And Lawrence said, "Well, we'll probably get him cheap because of that." I'm like, okay. And he was perfect for the role. And Lawrence suggested Christine. And I always had it in mind that it was a dude that was the governor, just because most governors are guys, unfortunately, especially back then. But she took it on, man. She was amazing. She's one of those actors that are always in character. So like when you break for lunch, she's eating lunch and she's Governor Tracy. You know what I mean? And then you say afterwards, "Christine, how was lunch?" None of your business. She's always in character, So I never really met the real Christine Ebersole, but she's a brilliant actress. And I know she's done had tremendous success on Broadway. And I just love her. I love her. Yeah. She was scary. She's like 6 feet tall or something, so you don't want to mess with her. She'll break your neck.
Well, we're about to let people watch the movie, and what they're about to see, it struck me on this rewatch that they're about to see a film that deals with, difficult to love female politicians, election fraud, white privilege, crazed men wandering around the streets with guns. I mean, is Black Sheep ahead of its time, or are we just going around in circles?
I don't know. I mean, we're definitely going around circles. Definitely. I don't know if it's ahead of its time. I mean, Suburbia that I did, also projected the homeless situation. And but I mean, I didn't write Black Sheep. Fred Wolf wrote it, he and I didn't get along too well. Yeah. I think I kicked him off the set once or twice. I don't remember. I don't know. He came up with all kinds of weird ideas that didn't fit to me. And, I'd have to argue all the time. You asked a really good question, which flew out of my brain. What is it that you just said?
Oh, about the political world and time just going around in circles.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really think about it as a political movie, I just thought about it as a couple of brothers that were having a hard time getting along, which I could relate to in my own family, and, one of them being a screw up all the time, so
yeah.
I think the best line in the movie is "Kill Whitey." Sometimes I'll be driving down the street and people will yell out the window, "Kill Whitey." I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
We got Party On from Wayne's World, which really is stuck to my shoe, like, you know. And then we got Kill Whitey from Black Sheep.
All right. Well, I dare somebody in the audience to roll down their window and yell at on their drive home tonight after watching Black Sheep. We will set you free to do all of these things. Penelope, it has been such a pleasure getting to talk to you.
I haven't seen anybody in so long because of COVID. I feel like I have a friend again. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much. And thanks to Chris and the Aero Theatre. Okay. And all you guys for coming out. Yeah. If there's anybody in the theater, I can't see. Yeah. Kill Whitey.